Welcome to Christmas Garage. Yep, we're on the road in Old Yeller here. Going to pick up the old 94 Ford Ranger. Fella said that it quit wanting to crank. Said it started doing the nothing. So we're gonna see what's going on with it. Carry y'all on for the ride. Alright, first things first, we've got the old battery cable, comes off, goes to this solenoid. As you can see, this is where it's coming off and feeding to this side of the solenoid. Well, when you turn the key to try to crank it, this side over here should get hot. So let's see what happens. Try to crank it. Alright, see that? Let off of it. Try to crank it. Alright, you see that thing lighting up? That means that we're getting voltage through this little doomiflachi here, and it's going down to the starter. Alright, now this solenoid here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bypass everything on the inside. We're going to check just the starter. And watch, I'm going to send voltage straight to the starter. You hear that? Now we got a good strong battery, and we're sending voltage straight to the starter. And you can hear the starter throwing in, but it's not turning. If the starter's throwing in but not turning, that's only one of two things it can be. Either the solenoid on the starter's bad, or the brushes are wide in the starter and the starter's not turning. Or the armature's bad, or whatever inside the starter. So either the starter motor or the solenoid. Both of those are the starter. So, I'm going to pull the starter off of this thing, and we're going to probably go get a starter for it. We're going to put a starter on. Alright, here we are up underneath here, guys. This is your old starter. This is the bell housing going to the transmission, as you can see, going way back there. This is the engine. She's a little drippy drip. I think we might have a little leak there, but I ain't gonna worry about that. That's not what we're worried about today. Yeah, we'll just leave it alone. That's your old solenoid. You see this thing with the wire going to it up here. That's the old solenoid on the top of the starter. We got to unhook that. We got a bolt here, here, and if you can see it, yep, bolt right up there. Now if you can see that or not, but anyhow, there's a bolt up there. 3 bolts in this starter. We're gonna drop her right on down. It's not bad. Yep, come on, get off of there. Yeah. She, nothing's gonna get you. Oh, no, there she goes. Okay. That's the little plug on the back of the solenoid. We may replace on that because she looks a little corroded. Normally this plastic piece pops right off, and it does, and it's going to be a 13 also. You can see 12 VT. So we've got that to undo, so I need a 13, 13, 13, and a little small 13. Alright, first things first, I'm going to take this big lug off. I'm just putting them back on. Now, the top of the starter's unhooked. This is the only thing that was on the top of the starter. A push-on spade and this big lug. That's it. Now, what we're going to do is I always like getting the aggravating one first. It's going to be this top one right here. Alright. Yep. Take it right off. 1 of 3. Check. I'm going to get this one down here. Two of 3. Check. She's going to get loose this time. 3 of 3. Now, watch this. Grab the starter. She's out. Let's take it over here on the floor. All right, let me talk a little bit about this starter. As you notice on this solenoid, you've got a terminal that goes to nothing, and then you've got a terminal that comes over here and soldered to a little piece. This little terminal always goes to the motor. This terminal always comes from your solenoid up on the firewall on the Chevrolet, and this just comes from your starter. On the Chevrolet, it just goes straight to the battery. This one actually goes to the little solenoid. Ford just has always, for years, always had a solenoid on the firewall, and even when they went to this solenoid on the back of a starter, they continued to keep the solenoid on the back of this on the side of the firewall. So anyhow, this one has definitely got some corrosion on it. It could be that. My man wanted to put a starter on it. If your drive is bad, it'd be going zing. This one feels good. It's not that. It was throwing in. So that means this solenoid's pulling in. Now it could be two things. This solenoid could pull in and not be making connection and sending power here, or this thing could be bad. So I'm going to take the cap off just because I want to see in there. These are going to be little millimeter stuff here. All right, 6 millimeters, these little ones. And all these little ones right here these two little ones, they hold the brush plate to the back of the cap. And I'm just doing this because I want to lay my old peepers on these brushes. These starters on these Fords are notorious about the brushes wearing out and them arcing up the armature, and no more no good. So you could put a brush plate in this, but being this starter has got as many hours on it as it does, and you can get one with like a lifetime warranty on it, we're just gonna put a starter on this old girl. But you know, just for the video, we're taking this apart. So as y'all can see, on my other channel, I've got a video of me rebuilding one of these starters. There's really nothing to them. Nothing to it at all. Sometimes you need some persuasion. These brushes don't look terrible. No, the brushes ain't wore out. See, if the brushes wore out, guys, these brushes would be way up in here like this. But see how they came out real far? Yep. So that means to tell me that it's probably this solenoid's bad. Either way, we're going to buy a starter and put on it. I'm going to stick this back together. All right, we got the new starter here. She's real pretty. It came with a new lead here because, like I said, that other one was thing. So we're going to solder this together. They want you to crimp it and then heat shrink it, but we're going to solder on that thing just because I want it done right. I'm going to undo this. We'll go in there. I'm going to solder it up. And that looks like it might be old 10 millimeter maybe. And yeah, I'll show y'all how we do this. All right, we got this little plug on here, and what we're going to do is we're going to solder this unit to it. So we're just going to cut this right off, just like that. We're going to skin her back, just like that. She's already got the heat shrink on her. I like fraying these out just a wee little bit, about like that. Fraying these out a wee little bit. I think by now y'all have seen me solder plenty of stuff. Unless this is your first video. If this is your first video, hey, I'm not gonna hold that against you. You just go up there and watch all the rest of them, tell your friends and family that Chrisman Garage is the best YouTube channel. Well, maybe behind Vice Grip Garage, the best YouTube channel that you can watch. So, there it is. All right, after you get her soldered on there, you see how we got her. Whoop, I'll show it to you. Old joint, we got her soldered on. She's not real pretty, but it's a tough. I normally take a little bit of, you know, really strive to do a good solder job.
You're just in a tight spot.
It's in a tight spot, I'm just gonna say. So we're gonna shrink her up with old mini torch. Whoop. Had a really smart man tell me one time that the key to heat shrink is fast movement, fast movement, fast movement. So there you go. She's good to go. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the old starter up in there. Now let me tell y'all a little secret. These Ford starters are not like Chevrolet starters. Chevrolet starters go up, you got 2 bolts that go straight up in them. And you can just stick it up in there, tighten the bolts up. And then you can shim it at the top if you need to. The Ford starters go into the bell housing. So the key is to make sure you get it up in, get all the bolts started, run them all the way up finger tight, and make sure it's in that notch. Because if it's not, and you tighten up on a bolt and it's cocked sideways, you know what happens? You break the ear off the starter.
And your starter's going to the bad.
Don't ask me why I know this. But you will make your starter go to the bad quick if you tighten them up. You might luck up and it might just go up in there. But odds are you ain't gonna luck up and you're gonna make it go to the bad. So just word to the wire.
Murphy's Law.
Okay, fellers. The easy thing to do here is go and hook up your wires before you put the starter up in there. So that's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna, I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but I'm just gonna hook up those wires. Whoa, I'm gonna drop the starter on the face. And put the wire on there. Like that. There. This light is shining right in my eyeball. Okay. I think I'm gonna wait. Because she's not going to be hard to get to. She's going to be easy to get to. So we're just going to put it on in just a minute. So what I'm saying is, guys, you see how I can you see this? How it's got this shank, this ledge right here. You see that? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this ledge has to, you see how I could start this top bolt and leave it out like this and it would break the ear off. You got to make sure it's all the way. See how it's nice and flush up in there like that? So that's where we want it to go. Normally you can run them up with your fingers. If you can't, I just don't recommend tightening any of them up beyond finger tight. See, I just got that finger tight. See, I can still move the starter. I'm gonna get this one finger tight. Just so you know, guys, if you do a lot of this during your life, that's why your fingers turn out crooked like this. See that? See how them fingers turn out crooked because of that. Okay, I got all of them finger tight, and see she's pulled up, flush. I know all of them's flush. I know all of them's good. Now I can tighten them up. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get Old Faithful out here. That one's tight. That one's tight. That one is tight. You want to make sure that when you hook these wires up, you don't touch anything or short anything out. No problem though. I don't even know that you can see this up here, can you?
Just barely.
What?
Something's got power on it.
Yeah, she sure does. She didn't a while ago, but she does now, so we just pretend like we didn't see that.
That needs to be thumbnail.
Just keep going, guys. Pretend like you didn't see that. She shouldn't have power on her, but she does.
Probably got a capacitor in that.
Son, she's hot.
All the way.
Okay. Okay.
Something's live.
She's. Okay. I might lie to y'all, but she might have some juice on. I don't know. Old Cobra just got me. When you least expect it, old Cobra get you, son.
It still should have had no juice on it at all.
I wouldn't think it should have any, but I'm fixing to check on it just because I'm curious.
Well, we know it's got juice on it. It's been spitting at us.
Yeah, but I touched it to the frame a while ago and it didn't do nothing. So explain that to me,
Yeah, there's that.
Sherlock Holmes.
Right there.
What?
No evidence of the frame checker.
Yeah. I mean, I touched it right to the...
Are you touching it right now?
Well, this is not going to have anything on it.
Unless the key's on it there.
No, it should have nothing until that solenoid throws in.
True. Unless that solenoid up top going through that.
You know what? It may be hot all the time. It's okay. You tighten those up. You got the new wire on there. Make sure it's not laying against the exhaust. Everything's good. Got that tight, that tight, that tight, that tight. Good to go. We're going to go up here and see if she works now. Come on. All right, let's see if she cranks this time. All right. Let's try it one more time. There you go. There you have it. We troubleshooted this thing right on down. The only thing we did learn on this, guys, is the wire that goes down to the starter. Yep. She stays hot all the time. All right. With that being said, y'all remember, if she's giving trouble, she's going to the bad.